And welcome back to Law and Crime. Michael Bryant here, following a very important case. This is the first going on in Michigan. The mother of Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley, Jennifer Crumbley, charged with involuntary manslaughter for her alleged role in her son's November 2021 school shooting. They claim 4 lives, injured a number of others. Defense attorneys are saying that Jennifer is not responsible for the actions of her son, but she is looking at up to 15 years in prison if convicted. Let's break down a very interesting moment that happened in court here just a moment ago. Jennifer Crumbley's defense attorney, Shannon Smith, was looking at a surveillance video, as was the jury, of the incident in 2021. And the attorney, Ms. Smith, allegedly got pretty emotional. The judge took note of it to dismiss the jury. And let's take a look at what the judge had to say following that incident.
You are on the record. And you
Your Honor, this court, upon the defense's request, instructed the prosecutors not to show emotion. You instructed the prosecutors to tell our witnesses not to show emotion, and you instructed us to let our victims know.
I don't think that's actually what I said.
I understand the ruling, Your Honor, I do. You're concerned about influence of the jury. I take no issue with it, but it was a difficult thing. It's difficult, and we're doing it. And then to have not just the defendant, her lawyer, sit there sobbing. So
I did not sob.
I just want to finish, Your Honor. I just want to finish. I think if that is the instruction, we are trying really hard to respect the court's instruction because I understand the reason for it.
Okay, I didn't tell people not to show emotion. Some of that is involuntary, but there have been times in this courtroom during trials when people will show facial expressions, or things like that, or make comments. I understand this is a very emotional situation for everyone here, right? If someone was audibly sobbing in the audience, I would hope that they would exit. And as you said, the reason for it. I didn't tell anybody not to show emotion. I guess some emotion is involuntary. So I guess I'm asking what you're asking of me.
I think it should apply to both sides.
Your Honor, first of all, I was not sobbing, and this is horrific.
I've never seen this before.
It's horrific. That's why we asked the court not to play it. This is horrific. I don't know how the prosecutor. She's watched it 100 times with these witnesses. It's horrific.
You've had this video for over 2 years.
I don't know. I don't have this video. I have to go to their office to watch it.
You've seen it?
No, I haven't, because it's not necessary. It's not relevant to my client's case. We've already litigated this, but we're doing our best. We were not sobbing or making a scene in any way. All my eye makeup's still on. I checked my camera.
I'm not having.
I need to run to the bathroom. I need a break.
Okay, we're having a break. That's what we're doing, and you got to keep your voices down because
I'm sorry.
The walls are cardboard in here, so
I'm sorry.
Okay, everyone here is human, right? Everyone here is human. I understand that. I'm striving really hard to give both sides a fair trial, and if people don't at least try to check themselves, to exit if it's that excruciating, which I know it is. I'm not a robot. I'm trying to keep myself from sobbing. I'll do it at 6 o'clock tonight, okay?
I appreciate that, Your Honor. That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Your Honor, we don't have the option to leave the courtroom. We're trying our best. I promise you, we are trying our best.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody needs to take a deep breath.
So that happened. I've not seen that before. Here we have the defense attorney openly crying during the playing of the video of the shooting of the defendant's kid carried out at school. So we don't see that as well. They did not broadcast that because it is graphic and obviously very emotional. Boy, Brian Buckmeyer's here, Ron Zambrano. Ron, have you seen anything like this before? Did the judge handle it properly?
I've never seen anything like that before, and I think the judge is doing a great role in being the calmest person there, talking very calmly. What surprised me the most listening to that is that the defense attorney hasn't seen the video at least once. I know it's something everyone would want to avoid, but she knew this was coming, and she maybe she could have used something in it. I don't know, but I think the judge did an incredible job. I mean, she's being calm and not reacting to anyone. People are, the defense attorney yelling at her, basically.
Yeah, this discussion took place outside the presence of the jury. So the jury sees the defense attorney melting down. They see the video. All of that's now in them. They're gone. They don't hear this discussion. So Brian, or should I say, Brian, do you have a response to that? It seems that being a robot is more appropriate.
No, I join Ron in this one of saying, what? You didn't see the evidence because you already figured it wasn't relevant to your case? No, I think we looked up her background. She's been doing this for over a decade. I was the homicide public defender for 9 years in Brooklyn, New York. You think I didn't want to see dead bodies when I was trying to argue that my client is not the person who killed them, that it was someone else in a surveillance video? Yeah, I didn't want to look at those dead bodies, but I had to. I had to look at this case because what if there is an issue that I can defend my client with? A doctor doesn't get to say, oh, I don't want to see this bloody mess. I'm trained to help this person, but it's so sad. No, if you choose this profession, you get in the trenches, you see the stuff that other people won't want to look at because it's our duty. We took an oath to protect the Constitution and defend people. And that sometimes means looking at horrible things. So yeah, I don't really care about crying in the court. My issue is that you intentionally went in with blinders in this case because you ordained that this was not relevant to your case. That is infuriating to me.
And I'm sure the argument was made, but once it was overruled, then she should have taken a look at it. So Ron, what do you do if you can't really ask for any sort of curative instruction because then you're just highlighting the issue, but you ain't unringing this weepy bell?
I think the judge and the tones that she spoke to the attorneys tells the jury, listen, people are going to react to these things. You can't, what was a certain emotion is involuntary, and, don't let it influence the weights that you give to the facts that you're looking at. I think that's the best you can do because you could get a new jury. This is going to come again. People are going to cry. I mean, just thinking about it, one gets emotional. Imagine being in the room with people that were there or watching the video. It's going to happen. So I think with the same tone, she's got to tell the jury the same thing.
Yeah, it makes my point from earlier. This is a very emotional story. And the more this jury is exposed to what happened, Brian, at the scene of those crimes, which have been admitted to, penalty meted out to Ethan Crumbley. He's never going to get out of prison. But this may be an extreme version of what I anticipated this jury is going to have to deal with.
Maybe, and yes and no, because when I look back is what is the prosecution's goal here? And I actually printed out the state of Michigan's Court of Appeals document of how they said, no, enough evidence was purported to move forward in this case. And what do they got to prove? They got to prove that the shooter presented a danger to the community. This is what they're doing. How else do you show that he was a danger to the community but for showing
Why can't
the
you just say 4 people are dead and 6 people are injured as a result of what this guy did? We'll stipulate to the things he did.
But they're going to stipulate to it?
No, they're not. But I'm just saying that's a way to do it. Yeah,
so then the defense should have brought it up and said, we're going to stipulate to that. But unless I hear otherwise that they didn't, then the prosecution has the right to prove their case. Also, there are varying degrees of danger. There are varying degrees of murder. And to show how dirty and how messy and how horrific this is, you've got to give the prosecution, as much as I hate when they make this argument in my cases, the leeway to do that. They've also got to show that this danger was apparent to the ordinary mind, as well as that Jennifer Crumbley neglected to address or divert this danger, and the dangers resulted in death. And so a lot of this case is the horrificness of these murders. So again, I go back to, you didn't watch the video?
But Ron, you're still going to, in my mind, cut it off at the point that this parent does or doesn't do what they're supposed to do. Once that first shot is fired, the parent's out of it. Everything the parent did, right or wrong, happened before any shot was fired. So I think dwelling on the aftermath of those decisions is a problem, maybe, for appeal.
It might be, but it's also like, what exactly happened? I haven't seen the video, obviously, but one of the things you have, did he have a moment to stop? Was there a moment that he stopped, or you got to see what he did? Because if he had the ability to kind of reflect, I think that's something that a parent should be responsible for. Especially in the sense that if it's just one act, then fine. I agree with you that once the bullet stopped, it should. But maybe the bullets didn't stop, and he kept going. And I think that's part of the horrificness of the decision making that maybe the mom or the dad may have seen coming, depending on what they saw at home, or at least what they were being told was going on at school.
Yeah, well, in the absence to me of the kid picking up a phone in the middle of firing and saying, "Mom, here's what I'm doing. What do you think?" I don't know that all of this is going to make it. I predict if there is a conviction, it's going to be a huge issue on appeal. Let's take a break.
Yeah,
we'll come back.
I agree.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk more about it. We'll be back right after this.